if your art book doesn't look like this, you can't even tell which side.
No.
Which side is opening. But if it doesn't look like this, can you even call yourself an artist? This is how you can tell if an artist is good or not. Just look at the condition of the sketchbook. Welcome back to another video, guys. I know you saw the title. You know what you're here for, so I wouldn't waste your time. I just want to bring you on a journey, on an artistic journey. No visa, no passport required. All you need is just your attention. Trying to show you, even though these art books, these art works are from 2022, I'm going to use it to wrap up this year, 2024, because I haven't shown you guys anything in my sketchbook. Well, I haven't shown you guys much in my sketchbook. So, no long talk, let's go into the video. Actually, let me not hit you guys aggressively.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the first 2 pages in my sketchbook, this is what it looks like. I know it's dirty, but don't hold me to it, please, guys. But the first page says, I thank God for my abilities, because of course, without God, I wouldn't even be able to draw. I wouldn't be able to live. I wouldn't even be able to breathe. So just wanted to thank God first and foremost before I started. For this artwork, to be honest, I didn't even know what to put on the first page. So I just decided, you know what? I think that was the image from Google. I just researched, and yeah, I just tried to draw it. Nothing serious, nothing, I didn't even put a date. So no. This one, I don't know what that was, to be honest. Do you guys know, as artists, we tend to have a lot of abandonment syndrome. We just start an artwork and then I don't even know if abandonment syndrome is a thing. I just made that up on the spot. But yeah, we tend to start a lot of artworks and never finish it. So this was one of my abandonment syndrome moments. These, yeah, I think I was trying my very hardest to draw without using a reference, to make something so original, a piece that was so original, without using any references, because there was a phase in my artistic journey that I depended a lot on references. Like, I can draw so good when I'm watching something that I'm replicating, but if I were to draw straight from my head, it's struggle. Like, I struggle so hard. So I get rid of the references, and I'm not saying that references are bad, because they're very good. I believe if it wasn't for references, I wouldn't be able to draw as good as I can. But at the same time, when you're too heavily dependent on references, it stuns your artistic growth. So this was one of the artworks that I tried to create from my head. This guy in a bag. Yeah, I was just trying to create an original character, giving him a backstory, like a guy who was a prisoner. He's a mysterious kind of a being. Yeah, and then I think a lady on the other side was a lady with cancer or something. Yeah, and then she had some magical abilities. Can't remember clearly, but I was trying to make, this was from actually 2020. This was during COVID-19. So, yep. This was an empty page. It's actually landscape. This was from a dream I had. There was this one time I wake up in the middle of the night. I don't usually remember my dreams, but I did. I don't have Joseph kind of ability from the Bible to interpret dreams, but it just gave me an unsettling feeling. I saw like 3 stars in the middle of the clouds, black background, so I drew it to the best how I could remember it. I can't remember what this was, to be honest. I think I was practicing drawing hands, because that's one thing I struggle with a lot. Like, as an artist, I struggle with drawing hands and feet. But yeah, eventually I was able to draw them without watching any references. So yeah, I don't know who this guy is. This was another attempt. So remember, before I was trying to get away from references, this was another attempt to stop depending on references and to create something unique and original. This came to mind. I feel like this is an idea that, you guys ever had one of those ideas that you thought you're the first person to came up with, but then when you, after doing some research and realizing that someone had an idea before, but you believe you had it first, you just never published it. This was one of those ideas. It was just I can't remember the interpretation, but it's like this lady represents time, and she's constantly going down, and like how time is limited or something like that. I don't know. Don't ask me, even though I drew it. It was years ago, guys. Years ago. Underestimate the importance of shading. Shading separate noob artists from an advanced and expert artist. So you have to master, you have to practice shading. It's not just something you just develop, you practice it. This was me practicing it. I used some charcoal pencil, which I believe is the best for shading because it allows for very dark tones, which is what makes an artwork look more realistic. Very dark tones. So just practicing that. This was one of the best pieces from the artwork from this sketchbook so far. This was like me sitting down and actually committing to one artwork, and it doesn't, I don't think it came out bad. I think it's pretty decent. I got the proportions mad wrong, but I believe it came out okay. And this was in 2020. It's during pandemic, guys. During the pandemic. This was an abandonment syndrome artwork. I got some, this was very interesting. I got some, what do you call those? It was watercolor pencils. I never used those ever. Like, they are good. I never used it before, but after using them, I low-key fell in love with them because they just give a animation style to your artwork. If you guys get what I'm saying. So I was testing it out. Later on, I tested out more though. So this was another pencil artwork that I did. This was another one that I actually sit down, took my time, and completed.
Hey, that's pretty good.
If I start an artwork and I don't complete it within one sitting, or within one time period, I guess, like one day, then if I abandon it, I won't come back to it. That's how it usually. For painting, it's different. For paintings, I usually finish paintings like over a span of weeks, or if it's a big painting. But for drawings, I tend to, want to complete them as soon as possible. What else is here? This was one of my favorites, actually. Still one of my favorites. Drawing. It looks so realistic. Like, I like how I got the hair quality, and you could see. Actually, let me not use my crusty fingers. I'm gonna use this guy to point. I got it from Dollarama. If you guys want one, it's like $2. But this, I like how I got the hair. The hair was very realistic, and that's because going back to graphite pencils, charcoal pencils, they allow for very dark tones. So that's why the hair look realistic, and then the eyes and so on. So I really love this painting, this piece, this drawing. I use a reference though, it was not original piece. Here I was practicing. This, they wanted me to draw this lady for them, so I was kind of getting them for a sketch. It was hard to draw at first. Here I was just practicing like perspective, here, eyes, nose, blah blah blah. So this video is actually going on longer than I thought it would. So I would have to make a part 2 for this sketchbook, but let me just show you a couple more before I end this video. This one, I'm practicing anatomy, right? So this was another part in my journey where I believe has helped me drastically, because without drawing anatomy, without understanding how the human anatomy works and how it looks under the skin, it's hard to really shade. It's hard to apply the proper tones and a proper coloring schemes to artwork. So yeah, I was drawing the back, drawing the front, and the very special part of the body.
Bag up, Terry.
Yeah, the inside of the skin. There it goes. This one was really testing out. I watched this one video, I think it was by Proco TV, if I remember correctly. It was about motion and how artists use motion in their artworks. Even though this is something that interests me a lot, because even though an artwork could be still and not moving, there's some, techniques that artists use to give the illusion of movement. And it's really a lot of curves, a lot of what we call arcs. So you see the line movements. I was drawing the line movements, how sometimes they would curl certain body parts to make it show, give the illusion of movement. Like what I did here. I was just testing out how it will look. It gives a more dynamic feel. Instead of having just a boring hand, just like this, because my hand is very boring and crusty. But I add motion to this hand here to give it, a little Greek, kind of Greek statue feel. So, yep. And yeah, this will be the last piece I show you guys for today. This was actually, I was trying to draw expressions, facial expressions, because that's something I really struggle with. As you can tell here, I struggle with facial expressions. So I looked on Google a whole bunch of facial expressions that I could practice, and I practiced. So my motivation to you guys, use references when you're starting off to draw, and yeah, it really helps in your artistic journey. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit a like. Let me know what you think about maybe the advice I gave on the drawings that are in. Most of these drawings are sketches, so if you're gonna judge me, don't judge me too hard. But yeah, this is 4 years ago. This artwork was 4 years ago, and you can see some of my more recent artworks on my other videos, maybe here or somewhere around. And also, yeah, I'll post part 2 of this video sometime in the future. So stay tuned, subscribe. Blessings, guys. Thank you.